Let's be honest, most of us spend our time waiting for a sign. We tell ourselves, I'll make a move when maybe I have more money saved, or I'll start that business when I have more clarity. Or most commonly for those of us who have kids, you say things like, I'll fix my environment once my kids are older. We wait for this perfect sunny day where there's no risk, no fear. But what I've learned over time from my own journey, crossing different kinds of borders, both financial and physical, is that that day doesn't exist. That sunny day doesn't exist. Clarity comes from thinking. It comes from moving. The market doesn't care about your past. It cares about your value now. Waiting to be ready is usually just a code for waiting to be comfortable. And as we know, growth and comfort never ride in the same car. Welcome back to the Future Foundations podcast. Now, if you listened to our previous manifesto, you know we are here to break down or dismantle the borders that keep us small, the borders, the mental borders, financial borders, and the geographic borders that keep us small. And today, I'd like to tackle something very critical, the single most dangerous lie that we usually tell ourselves. It's a lie that sounds responsible, it sounds mature. It's a lie that says, I'll make a move when I'm ready. And frankly speaking, in my opinion, the word ready is just a fantasy. It's a destination that doesn't exist on any map. And now I want to share with you a concept from one of my mentors, Vusite Mekwayo, who speaks about regarding high performance. So he recalls a time when he was competing at a global stage as a public speaker. At the time, he felt like an imposter, so with the imposter syndrome. And at that time, a mentor said something to him, and this actually changed his life. So he was told, tomorrow starts at zero. Tomorrow starts at zero. Now, let's be honest, most of us spend our time waiting for a sign. We tell ourselves, I'll make a move when maybe I have more money saved, or I'll start that business when I have more clarity. Or most commonly for those of us who have kids, you say things like, I'll fix my environment once my kids are older. We wait for this perfect sunny day where there's no risk, no fear, and probably a guaranteed outcome. But what I've learned over time from my own journey, crossing different kinds of borders, both financial and physical, is that that day doesn't exist. That sunny day doesn't exist. You know, clarity comes from thinking. It comes from moving. The market doesn't care about your past. It cares about your value now, your current value. So waiting to be ready is usually just a code for waiting to be comfortable. And as we know, growth and comfort never ride in the same car. But again, and this is very crucial, you can't also just jump in blindly, because just going into something without a plan is not being bold, it's being reckless, in my opinion. And so today we are talking about the decision. How do you actually know when you're ready? How do you actually know when you're strategically ready to stop planning and start building? And more importantly, what's the real cost? The real cost of deciding. Now, I want you to think about this morning. I want you to think about the moment you woke up. It doesn't matter what you achieved yesterday. It doesn't matter if you failed yesterday. When the sun came up, you had the same 24 hours as everyone else. That's what I call the zero-sum morning. Zero-sum morning. Every morning is a reset. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. Am I building an airport today, or am I just maintaining a local road? I'll try to break down my analogy about the airport versus the local road very shortly. But basically, building an airport means while you're still trying to connect to your current environment and the people around you, that's your current state, which is the local road, you're also thinking about something bigger, like an airport where you eventually become the hub itself for other planes to land. So let me try to connect that to what we're actually talking about today. Most people are stuck because they are calculating the wrong cost. We obsess over cost of action, like what if I move and it doesn't work out? What if I quit my job and I can't pay my bills? Or what if I invest in a skill and nobody pays me for it? But then we rarely calculate the cost of inaction. The cost of inaction. So what is the cost of staying in an environment that caps your potential? What's the cost of working another year at a job that drains you? What's the cost of your kids growing up and watching you play small? So the real question isn't, are you ready? The question is, can you afford to stay where you are for another year? Now, many of you are standing on the edge of a decision, leaving a job, starting a business, or moving to a new environment, and you're meticulously crafting a plan B in case it fails. So you think you're being prudent, but actually you might be sabotaging yourself before you even start. And that's what Chris Corner, commonly known as the king of side hustles, that's what he calls a plan B trap. So he talks about the danger of the safety net. There's psychological research showing that having a backup plan or a plan B actually reduces your commitment to your plan A, which is your primary plan. That means when you know that there's a reward available through a plan B, your commitment, you unconsciously work significantly less hard on a plan A. So let's put it this way. If you pull up to an island of your dreams, you get to this island and you keep the boat fueled up, so you keep it running at the dock just in case. That means you're not committing to that island. You never commit to that island. Sometimes you need to burn the boat. The moment things get hard, you will inevitably retreat from that island. And trust me, things will definitely get hard. And as Vosi usually says, the worst day of being an entrepreneur is the day after you start. That's when the excitement fades and then you realize that you're on your own. We often calculate the cost of doing something, but we rarely calculate the cost of not doing it. So before I go into the practical test, I need you to understand the timeline. And this is what I call the 999-day war. So this is a concept that we shall constantly return to from time to time. And this is about the first 3 years of any major transition, whether you're relocating, going from a 9 to 5 to owning your own time, or you're building a business. It's a war. It's a war against your old habits, a war against the identity box which people have labeled you. It's a war against the default script, the stereotypes, the expectations people have based on your background and your current environment. Now, the reason most people fail isn't because they're not talented. It's because they start this war before they even have the supplies. They build the local roads because, of course, it's easy to start, but then they wonder why they can't land any planes. If you're going to build an airport, you need to know if you have the foundations to survive the first 1,000 days of construction. So how do we measure that? Now, after dealing with the emotion, we need to talk about the mechanics. How do you actually know if you're positioned to make a move? So I've put together a framework, which I call the 5-factor readiness test. And as I go through these, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. So don't give me the Instagram answer. I need you to give me the real answer. Be brutally honest with yourself. So the first factor is the financial runway. Do you have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved? I'm not talking about investment capital. I'm talking about money. I'm not talking about money to start a business. In survival money. I would like you not to confuse being rich with being liquid. You don't need $1 million. You just need enough to not panic when maybe the first month doesn't go as planned. That's what I call the peace of mind fund or the freedom fund. So this is not money for a new car or a holiday. It's money to actually buy you time. And without this money, you're definitely going to make desperate decisions. And of course, we know desperate people build weak foundations. So if your answer to this first question is no, then your first job isn't to quit. Your first job is to stop bleeding cash. Stop bleeding cash. I watched a video where there's this great guy, Anthony Govenda, I think that's his name, where he says poverty leaves a trauma that makes us manufacture hardness even when life could be easy. So you need to break that cycle by saving aggressively, not for consumption, but for the optionality to say goodbye to maybe a boss or to an environment that doesn't serve you. The second factor is portable skills. Let's say you find yourself in London or Lagos or Singapore tomorrow, anywhere. Could you solve a problem that people are actually willing to pay for? Can you solve? Are your skills transferable? In other words, if your income source disappeared tomorrow, can you recreate it in a different country or in a different industry? So here's a key question. Are you an employee who depends on one person's authorization or permission to do things, or are you an entity that solves global problems? In the global citizen framework, which of course is what we are definitely building or discussing on this podcast, on this show, we stop thinking about job titles and we start thinking more about value creation, because businesses don't compete, value chains compete. So where do you actually stand? Tech, consulting, digital operations, specialized knowledge, these are skills that travel with you. They are portable skills. You must move from being a generalist to a specialist. If you can do what you do from anywhere with a laptop or with Wi-Fi, then you're already halfway there. If you can solve a specific problem, expensive problem, like say tax efficiency, coding, or some high-level sales, you can take that skill with you anywhere in the world. But then if your skill is something like being good at navigating internal politics within your office, then that's not a portable skill. You're not ready until your skill set is valuable outside your current zip code, outside your current environment. The third is the mindset, specifically the willingness to begin again, the willingness to become a beginner again. And that's very hard, of course. That's really hard. I watched a certain video, another video podcast, and the guest at that podcast, I think her name was Rennie, who was a finance creator and had built a $500,000 business. And she said something very profound. She said, embarrassment is the cost of entry for success. Embarrassment is the cost of entry for success. So, are you running away from something, or are you moving towards something? If you're trying to escape a bad boss or a local frustration, you're definitely going to find the same problems wherever you go. Whether you're in Dubai or in Canada, in London, somewhere in Europe, you're definitely going to find the same problem. But the deeper truth is, when you cross a border, whether it's starting a business or changing your current environment, you lose your status. You go from being the expert to being a beginner again. You might have an accent people make fun of. You might not know the local slang. You might fail publicly. But the question is, are you willing to look stupid for another 6 months so that you can be a strategic leader for the next 6 years? You only become ready when you're sure that your why is bigger than your ego. Now the fourth factor is support. Support who is in your ear. If you tell your family or your friends about your plans, maybe you want to build a global business, and then they tell you something like, you need to be realistic, then I think you have a network problem. Maybe the first thing to say is, but what if this doesn't work? Then I think you need new ears, you need new voices. Think about it. If everyone in your inner circle is building roads, they'll definitely try to talk you out of your airport. You need to audit your inner circle. You need network capital. Being around people where the conversation is about multiplication and not survival. You need at least one person, a partner, a mentor, or a community like this who understands the scale of what you are trying to build. Now, the fifth factor is timing and geographic arbitrage. Timing and geographic arbitrage. Does your current environment multiply your potential or does it hold you back? If you stay where you are for another 12 months, is your ceiling going to get higher, or are you just going to get more comfortable in your cage? Now, the thing about timing, the timing might feel wrong, but if the path is right, move away. That's actually a famous quote. The timing might be wrong, but the path is right. Sometimes you launch a business and the market crashes, or you move locations and a pandemic hits. You cannot control macro timing. What you can control is your own timing. Another common quote says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. That's also a very common, I see that a lot on the popular real estate investment ads coming from the UAE, from the Emirates. Usually they say the best time to buy a property was 5 years ago, and the next best time is now. The truth is, you're never going to have all the green lights, but then you just need the first one to turn green so that you can leave the driveway. I'm going to make a small analogy about this very shortly. Now, if you check 3 out of these factors and you're not thinking about it anymore, then I think you're on track. But then if you have all 5 unchecked, I don't think you're late. You're not late, but now you know exactly where to focus, right? So let's land the plane now. Let's talk about why making this decision is so hard, but also very relevant. It comes down to what I like to discuss, status versus legacy. Remember the cow analogy I shared from the manifesto? So let me just bring it back here because I think it's really critical. Most people wait to make the move until they have enough, but their definition of enough is based on consumption. So, following the cow analogy, the consumption mindset says, okay, now we have cattle. Let's have a feast. Let's show everyone that we've made it, right? So, what they do is they sell the cattle, they buy new clothes, throw a party, and show off on social media to impress everyone. And then 6 months later, they're back to where they started. They've not made any progress at all. But then we look at the builder as a global citizen. As a builder, as a global citizen, we see the calf as the parent of a future herd. So the builder mindset says, this calf is the foundation of something bigger, so I'm not going to eat it. What I'll do is, I'll wait, I'll build. After a few years, maybe I have 10 more cows, then 20 more cows, 50 cows. And then here's the key. The builder doesn't still sell the cow. They don't eat the cows. They depend on the milk, right? So when you decide to build a borderless life, you are deciding to stop eating your cattle. You're deciding to live lean now so that you can own the herd later. That's the builder mindset. The decision to be ready is often just a decision to stop caring about what people often think of you. It's about choosing quiet wealth over loud status. I want to leave you with a visual. Imagine you're sitting in a car in the driveway, probably on a late winter night. The engine is running. You want to drive to a destination across town, but you're waiting for all the traffic lights between you and the destination to turn green before you leave. You're never going to leave that driveway. You die in that car. You only need the first light to turn green. Then you drive there. You drive to that first light. Then the next one turns green, and you keep moving until you get to your destination. That is to say, you don't need the whole map. You just need to see 200 meters ahead, and you move. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to do a life audit, and I don't want you to think about it. I want you to take the freedom test. Look at your bank statements, look at your calendar, look at your peer group. If you want to live, earn, and grow beyond borders, but your bank statements constantly shows local consumption, or your calendar is filled with maintenance tasks, or you look around and you see that your peers are building roads and not airports, then you're not ready. But that's okay because now you know the gap. The decision is not a leap of faith. It's about transitioning into systems. You start by building the airport foundations while you're still driving on the local roads. Now here's why I think this decision matters so much. We are building legacies for the future, right? Now, we often think about legacy as something you leave behind when you die. But I rather say legacy is what you leave in motion. What you leave in motion while you're still alive. It's the systems, the values, and the capital you built today that continue to function without you. So if you're staying in a place of scarcity, then you're teaching the next generation that safety is more important than vision and growth. You're passing down generational regression instead of generational wealth. I think we have to discuss or dedicate an entire episode to this topic of legacy and generational wealth. But the whole point I'm trying to make here is every decision you make today is a message to your future self. Every decision you make today is a message to your future self and to whoever is watching you. Just so you know, I'm already auditing my own systems. I'm crossing my own mental borders every day. I work a 9 to 5. I've moved across continents and I've seen how these global systems work from the inside. And I can tell you this, the world is a menu. It's a menu, but only for those who are willing to read it. I'm not trying to impress you, but what I like to do is to equip you. I'm not an expert at anything though. So here's our challenge for the week. If you're ready to stop waiting for a sign and start building your own runway, I want you to just think about the 5-factor test. I'm going to put down a link in the comments in the description. I'll put the link to download my own template. And so I need you to actually do it and write it down. Then I want you to identify one thing that's stopping you from moving forward. Is it money? Then you need to save more. Is it skills? Then you need to learn more. Is it fear? Then you need to document it and learn to overcome it. So you can download the 5-factor readiness test from the link I'll be sharing. Now, if this episode sparked something in you, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to share with one person so that we can all build a community together. In the next episode, we're going to talk about your environment as your operating system. And here we're going to talk about why I think your location might be the only thing keeping you broke. The border is open. It's time to cross it. Let's build beyond borders. See you next time.